Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about 56 frugal ways to save a ton of money. I am so excited. I have so many good videos coming out for you guys. I reworked the entire content calendar. I had other videos filmed, and since everything happened, it really just wasn't relevant. So I wanted to go ahead and put content out that was pertinent to the situations that we're going through right now. So if this is your first time here, welcome to Cash Crush, and I hope this video encourages you to get a crush on cash. For the very first thing to do is cancel cable. We went ahead and canceled cable. You can rent movies from the library, or you can just take an overall TV break. You can also watch like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, whatever you're comfortable with, but break that number in half or break it all together. Number 2 is to wear sweatshirts and jeans as many times as you're comfortable with. I have a little baby that tends to spit up on me and like put his grubby hands all over my shirt sometimes, so I do tend to wash my sweatshirts more than I would like, but if you can, wear them as many times as possible. One of the other things that you can do to help save money is to create no spend weeks where you spend absolutely nothing except for the essentials like groceries. Or you could purchase your groceries on Sunday and tell yourself until the next Sunday you're not going to spend a single penny. Those are really nice to do, especially if you want to see how much you spend or see how much you can save up. Another big way to be frugal is to only buy used vehicles or to consolidate your vehicles down into one. If you are in a tight situation financially, maybe having 2 vehicles, even if you have a third vehicle that's kind of a splurge vehicle, which doesn't tend to happen very often, but if you do have 2 vehicles and you don't feel like you need one right now and you could use a little bit of extra cash, go ahead and sell that second vehicle. That would be one of the first things I would go ahead and do. And if you are to buy a vehicle, buy it used. Number 5, find a way to lower all of your bills, electric bills, water bills, everything around the house. Find ways to lower those bills. Also, do your own repairs around the house. YouTube is amazing, and we have been able to do so many repairs around the house that would have added up to be quite a pretty penny. And if for some reason you're not able to make the repairs, you could always ask a friend that does know how to do it or is very handy to do it for you at a reduced rate. Repeat as many meals as you can throughout the week. If you constantly are rotating your menu, let's say you're rotating 5 different meals for dinner every single week or 6 different meals for dinner and you have the same breakfast, that can tend to add up. If instead you tell yourself we're gonna have almost the same thing every single breakfast, for lunch we're gonna maybe do a variety twice, we're gonna rotate 2 different things, and then for dinner we may rotate 2 to 3 things versus 5 things, making something in bulk will always save you money versus having multiple different meals, and it saves you a lot of time in the kitchen too. Next, grow your own vegetables. You can get lots of extra produce to the point where you don't even eat all that you have, and it's kind of nice because it forces you to be healthy, it makes less trips to the groceries, and it's overall a lot less expensive. Another thing you could do is cut out bad habits. Like, I tend to like soda pop. I love Coca-Cola. I love fizzy drinks. I don't know where that came from. I'm pretty sure my husband. But cutting out bad habits like drinking, wine, smoking, whatever bad habit you may have, consider cutting it out while you're working through stuff if that's just an overall expense. If you want to be frugal and you want to tackle things, even eating meat, cutting that out of your diet makes a huge difference to finances. Another big thing that you can do is to turn any of your hobbies into side hustles. So if you like to draw, or if you like to create daily schedules or whatever it is, you could always find a way to turn that into a position or a little job on Etsy, or you could ask friends if you could do that service for them. Anything like that. If you have a hobby, see if you can turn it into a side hustle. Another big thing is to tell people no. A lot of times when we're in these situations, everybody is kind of hurting. So you're going to see a lot of people saying, hey, do you want to buy this from me? Or, hey, our company is doing this. Are you interested? You're going to see a lot more of that. But if you are in a frugal situation and you're really trying to be mindful with your money, say no. It is 100% okay to say no. For my next tip is to make a really good family budgeting plan and stick with it. Figure out where your goals are. Like, what is my big goal? Is it a savings goal? Is it paying off a part of the mortgage? Is it paying off a piece of debt? What is my goal? Really know that. Feel empowered by that goal. Don't just say, this is the goal, blah, I don't really care about it, because it's really hard to keep yourself accountable when you don't really care about a goal. When you put yourself and you put your heart and your passion into a goal, it is so much easier to make that come to fruition. Amazon trade-in, you can use it for old cell phones, textbooks, videos, what else can you use it for? Tablets, video games. It's an easy way to minimize and also make a little bit of extra money. If you're really trying to be frugal, do not purchase throwawayable items. Use something that you can reuse over and over again. And when it comes to shopping, buy used and save the difference. If you were to buy that shirt brand new, and let's say it would have been $40, but instead you bought it used for $5, save the difference that you would have spent to purchase brand new. To make your own cleaning products. Me and James used to do this a long time ago, and we had big batches of tons of cleaning supplies. It really does save on lots of money. Another thing that you can do, and this is quite challenging to do, especially for myself, is unsubscribe to any emails or subscription services that keep sending you reminders of their sales, or if you're following someone on Instagram or you're following someone on a social platform that continually encourages you to purchase frivolously or constantly encourages you to purchase, maybe unfollow them temporarily while you're working through your finances or you're trying to be more frugal. For example, I love to watch food ASMR, but it encourages me to purchase a lot of takeout, and it's not good for me. So I try to cut that out and not watch it as often, or I tend to find myself making more food purchases. Another thing that I kind of already mentioned is to cook in bulk. Cook as much as you can in one meal. One of the good things, at least for myself, is I really like to eat the same thing over and over. Like, I don't have a problem with that at all. If I could eat an avocado toast and maybe like boiled eggs or something like semi-light for lunch and then a big juicy salad for dinner, I would do amazing every single time. But if you can repeat meals as often as possible and cook in bulk, it makes a huge difference. And also make sure you buy generic everything. Another thing that you can do, and this is kind of up to you, up to your discretion, depending on how much you want to save, is that you could do cloth diapers. You can purchase cloth diapers used, because I know the initial investment can be a little bit big. We did this with our second child, and it was hard at first, but it ended up not being as bad as I thought. And you can also do reusable pads. They even have reusable toilet paper. I know that sounds extreme, and that may be way too extreme for a lot of people, but I did just want to bring it up in case you are in your very bottom and this is something that you're interested. And they also have those period pods that you could go ahead and purchase. I have not done any of those things, and I've never tried the period pads before, but I've heard so many people rave about those. You can also use your local library for renting anything. I know that we're in quarantine, or we might still be in lockdown. You can do ebooks from your library as well. They're usually rented out for a little while, but you could go ahead and rent an ebook, and then as soon as it's available, you could listen to it on your phone, which is really nice. Save for a rainy day, or save for a day where you are just going insane and you need a little something. Maybe you don't get that purchase instantaneously. Maybe it's something that you purchase on Amazon Prime. It's a game that you want to play with the whole family. However, you want to save up for it. So make sure you always have a little bit in case you need it. Another big thing that you could do is downsize your home. A lot of times it's really hard for people to downsize their car, change their car, or downsize or change their home. It comes with like pride. There's a lot of pride in people's homes and their vehicles, and I get it. I 100% get it. And it's very hard. However, if you're in a financial situation where you want to be more frugal, is all the space or is that home worth the extra payments? Is it really tight? Is it strapping you? Are you using all the space? Are you able to even maintain? Is the maintenance, is the cleaning, is it really accommodating and giving you enough hours to even be able to work and get everything done? Ask yourself those questions and really tell yourself. Or if you have a fancy brand of a car, or you have a car that you really like, is the brand worth it? If you were to resell that, would you be able to get a car for $1,000, $2,000 that still ran really well and pocket the rest of the money, or be out of debt? Ask yourself those questions. It can be really helpful. If you want to be more frugal, those are definitely things that I would tackle. Another big thing that I would do is stick to your grocery list and don't add anything more. If you know what you want, if you know what you're going to cook, do not add extras. You can also go on Pinterest, and they have pre-made grocery lists for you to give you inspiration and give you ideas. This is one area that's always been a little hard for me as to what to get so that we don't crash and that we have enough things that we actually like. Cut out any luxury drinks. If you are wanting to be really frugal, any luxury drinks, LaCroix, sparkling drinks, soda pops, sports drinks, anything, always ends up adding up to be a little bit more. So cutting all of those out and just sticking to basic H2O is going to make a big difference. Dry some of your clothes on a drying rack or put dryer balls inside your dryer. It actually helps a ton. It helps the dryer time lessen substantially. Cut out meat. There is a lot of meat substitutes that you could do. They are not necessarily going to taste like meat, and I wouldn't necessarily purchase the vegan meat substitutes that are made to look like meat, because those can tend to cost even more. What I would do is I encourage mushrooms. A lot of people that are plant-based tend to use mushrooms and saute them just like they would a steak, and they can really get a lot of flavor, and it saves a ton of money. You can also use tofu. We use tofu a ton, and we cook it just like we would little chicken strips, and it is so delicious. It is filled with protein. And I also tend to make a lot of chilies using lentils and different things with lentils, just to make it a little bit more hearty and definitely more filling. Reevaluate your food budget and potentially cut it in half. Your food budget may already be super, super low, but that's one area, especially for ourselves, where we tend to be very frivolous with, or it tends to be a little bit higher. That is one area instantly that I know that we could easily cut in half. It just means that we may not get luxury, high-end, gluten-free crackers. You know what I mean? There's just some things that would have to be cut. But if you do want to be more frugal, definitely consider, what am I eating and what could I do to rework that? Get rid of clutter and sell things online, whether it's things in your home. You can still sell things on like Poshmark, on e-commerce. You could sell things on Facebook Marketplace. A lot of people have porch pickup where you just go ahead, you don't actually see anybody, and you leave the cash underneath the door. Super easy, not a big deal, and I've seen a lot of people still doing it right now. There are several apps that actually give you cash back on your groceries. So if you're gonna buy that rice and beans, and you're gonna make a lot of healthy things, you're gonna fill it with lentils, whatever it is, you can also get cash back when you're purchasing your groceries, which might be a good fit. Another thing, which is quite comical, is learn to cut your kids' hair at home. YouTube is awesome for tutorials and things like that. I am not the best at cutting my kids' hair, but cutting your kids' hair, cutting your pet's hair, whatever you need, maybe see if that would be a good option for you to save some more money. Monthly budgets and monthly workups to make sure you really know where everything is. Always have an emergency monthly budget or emergency financial workup available as well. So what I tend to do is I write a list of all of our expenses, but what I do with a highlighter is I will go ahead and highlight the unessential things. So I constantly know what I am spending throughout the month. I constantly know what I need, like what bills I'll be having, who I pay for this, whatever. But everything that is highlighted in yellow are things that if I was in an emergency situation, or if I was in a severe financial situation, those would all get cut immediately. And that's one thing I think it's really good to always have a pulse on and always be aware of, because it can help you a ton if you were to get in a financial situation, or if you want to be more frugal and tell yourself, do I really need this service, or do I really need this every single month? Or just really reevaluate what your monthly budget looks like. Do not buy things to impress other people. If you want to purchase something, buy the things that you need and buy the things that you genuinely want. Do not buy something just to impress someone, or like, oh my gosh, this is gonna look so cool on Instagram. Buy something that you genuinely want. The satisfaction in that item lasts a lot longer, and also it stops you from spending more frequently. Another thing is cancel any monthly subscriptions. Also, if you have debt, make sure you pay that down. Once you pay down that debt and you've put all of that money towards debt, it really makes you more conscious of your money, and it usually allows you to be more sound in decision making with your money and just financial choices as a whole. Wash your clothes in cold water. This can help a ton with like your overall bill, and it's better for the fabric of the clothes. Create a meal plan. Actually have a real legit meal plan, and if you rinse and repeat every single week, that's okay too. Like I said, eating more frequent items is super good for your body, it's good for your digestive system, and it's also really good for your wallet. Find free activities. There's lots of free activities on Pinterest. There's things that we can do around the community. Maybe we're going to a park, or maybe we're creating something that's so fun and unique. Maybe we're pretending like we have a movie theater in our living room and we're making little movie tickets and money exchanges and having a snack concession stand. Whatever we're doing, find free activities. If you are in a very hard financial situation, cut out any non-essentials. I have some friends that have been in financial situations before, and they will still go on a vacation or they will still purchase a luxury item. Really evaluate, if you're in a financial situation and you are struggling, where do I truly need to cut things out? And this is hard to do because we still want to enjoy the luxuries of life and we still want to do things and we still want to live life. But at the same time, by having the financial stress and the burden and not cutting those things out temporarily can cause more internal stress than you realize. It just tends to add up, and you could be angry or quick to anger because of that internalized financial stress. So really evaluate that and tell yourself, is there any unessential things that are just like eating at my heart and they just are not a good fit for us right now? Another big thing that I would do is create real, digestible financial goals, something that is actually attainable. If you tell yourself every single penny is going to go towards debt, or every single penny is going to be saved in savings, and we're not going to allow for an entire and even a tiny little slip up or even a tiny little spending pocket, that is so hard to do. I've talked about that in a couple of my other videos, but at least from my experience, you may be really good at it. But for me, just like if I were to be on an extreme diet, it is so uncomfortable and so hard to actually achieve the goals. When you have wiggle room or you have a little bit of a pocket of spending cash, it makes things so much easier. Tell yourself, like, and then the camera died. Sorry about that. If you were able to save a small pocket of money, when you have a day that you really want to spend or you really want to do something, you could go online to like Target or Amazon and purchase, maybe even it's a new family game, so that you have something little to look forward to. When you're going through being financially frugal, a lot of people are really good at being extreme. And a lot of people, it's really, really, really hard. If you're one of those people like myself where it just is hard, you want to save aside some rainy day funds, and you can go ahead and do that by doing a side hustle if you don't have the extra funds in the paycheck. Even if it's just selling something that you already have and you're like, you know what, I don't find this as fun anymore. Like I said, we could do one of those Facebook door pickups. Maybe you have 3 games that you don't use anymore, and you could sell those for a total of, maybe you're getting about $27 for those 3 games, and they're in pretty good condition. And then you could go ahead and purchase a new game that you read the reviews on and you're like, you know what, cool. So you're really not spending anything. You're kind of doing a trade for a trade, which is quite nice, especially if you need something new and something fun to do. Track every single penny. This is one thing that I'm not so good at, and I try to a lot, like spending money that would be appropriate, because I tend to have things where I spend money for my job and then I spend money just because I'm good at spending money sometimes. But that's one thing that I do not think is good, and that's one thing that I'm gonna buckle down on this month especially, is telling myself, you know what, your spending money is cut in half. There's also apps that will warn you and give you notifications, hey, you've reached your spending allowance. And if you are the person like myself, where I tend to just click PayPal and everything's all logged in and it online purchases way too easily, you can go ahead and unconnect those so that it's not such an easy transaction if you need to do it, or if you're like myself. Even Amazon, if you are making purchases too easily and you rather type in all your information, maybe because it's just one button, boom, 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 and you're done, maybe that needs to happen. Or maybe it's a removal of an app. For example, I just removed DoorDash temporarily because we ended up spending so much money and we were wasting tons of food. We were purchasing food on DoorDash and purchasing a bunch of money for groceries, and we were wasting quite a bit of food as a whole. We just didn't feel like that was appropriate, and it was time to really not be so frivolous, but to really be more money conscious and pull that in quite a bit. Another thing that you could use is online coupons. My husband is so good at this, and he's always find a coupon for literally everything. And if somebody is happening to have a gift, I know nowadays bigger is better, the flashier is better, like everything just tends to be bigger is better. But homemade gifts are still so special. DIY gifts, you probably have things around the house, even if it's like an old book that you don't use anymore and you could use like the pages or you could use the cover. I am not about destructing books. I'm a book lover. But what I'm saying is you probably have something around the house and you probably could find a video on YouTube or a Pinterest or a blog that has some really cool creative gift ideas that might be really special. This may sound a little left field, but to work out more. When I work out more, it gives me mental clarity, it makes me happier, and altogether it helps me spend less money because one, I have something to do. My goal and my fun is really focused on like my physique versus ooh, fun, I want to go shopping. Do you know what I mean? So thinking about working out, and you can get a lot of workouts for free on YouTube, tons of places, a lot of gyms are offering free online workouts just for different people. There's just a lot of access to free fitness, which is so nice. Making your own condiments, like salad dressings, I have one of the best. I'm not the best cook, but I used to have a raw food company a long time ago. And I can make really good raw food recipes. Not cooked recipes, but raw food recipes. And I make a killer salad dressing. And my salad dressing, like I could make a huge big batch of my salad dressing and it would last longer and be less expensive than if I were to buy one little container of salad dressing. So think about ways to make some condiments if you want to go ahead and give that a go. Definitely more time consuming, but if you have something to distract your time with, you might be able to save money as well because you're not bored or just finding ways to blow your time, if you will. If you have a significant other, if you have a partner, or if you live with your mom, or you have an older daughter, whatever it is, whoever you live with, get them on board. Because if they're not excited and they're not into it, it is very, very hard to do. If you are all strict, all the way, black and white, and there is no cutting corners, and then your partner is over here ordering Wendy's every single day, and you're just like it's not gonna work. You're either gonna slip or you're gonna get mad at your partner. Make sure you're on the same page. It really helps a ton. Accept hand-me-downs. This is so important. Even if it's not something you would typically wear, just having it, you could always re-sew it into something different, or you could use it for play days outside. Another tip that sounds so little and even maybe a little bit silly, but to pay all of your bills on time to avoid any late fees. When I was in college, I used to just get these bills and I would get the bill again because I was just literally so naive. I'd be like, why did this bill change price? And then I ended up talking to one of the girls on the phone, and I had no idea that that was even a thing, that your bill was a better rate if you paid it on time. Who would ever thunk it? I've mentioned this before, but decluttering, having more mental clarity, if you declutter your space and if your space is more clean and organized, it is supposed to help you have more mental clarity so you don't feel as cluttered inside, which can definitely help with less spending. Use what you already have for groceries. If you have bags and bags of rice and quinoa and lentils in a little container of black beans, find ways to be creative, to reuse those things. A lot of the things that we have in our home that we are saying we don't have any food, a lot of the things that we have left over, like that head of broccoli, the celery, the canned rice, whatever it is, a lot of times those are actually some of the healthier foods. If you're like us, we tend to eat the junkier foods first, but use what you have first. And if you do have leftover stuffs, really be creative with making your meals around the things that you already have. Unplug things that you are not using. It actually affects your electric bill, which I'm sure you've already heard that, but unplug things that you're not using. And for my very last tip is to stop eating out. If you are trying to be incredibly frugal or you're trying to help yourself out in a financial pickle or a financial situation like what's going on right now, stop eating out. Take a freeze frame, take a break, whatever you need to do, but it can totally help. These are my 56 ways to be frugal. I hope it helped a little bit. I hope you found like a new idea or creativity. I hope this helped a little bit, and I hope you haven't heard all of these ideas before. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below a couple frugal tips that you use. I love reading comments, and let me know what are some of the frugal tips that you use. I love finding out ways that people are frugal, or if you're extremely frugal. We had a neighbor that used to reuse his floss all the time. He would wash it and reuse his floss. And for me, that's just a tad bit too much because I'm a hygiene freak. However, I do want to hear all of the ways that you are being super frugal. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope this video encouraged you to get a crush on cash. And if it did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel a ton. Thank you guys for being here, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye, guys.